Hello friends, welcome to my Cozy Haven. My name is Fiona. I'm really glad you've clicked my video today. I'm just going to be chatting to you about the books that I've read in the last fortnight, what I'm planning to read over this weekend, and just a general catch up. It's been quiet this last fortnight, I have to say. I had my last yoga session before the summer on Tuesday, and that was really good. Thoroughly enjoyed that. It was really nice to just bend, stretch and move, which was good. Other half was down for about 5 days because he'd go back up the road because he'd play at his friend's funeral, and we hoped to go out, but he unfortunately caught a summer cold, so he was coughing and everything, and I'm like, stay away, I don't need anything like that just now. So I didn't get to see him, which was sad because I'd been looking forward to spending some time with him. So it's a bit naff actually, but when I don't get to see him, it really is. I don't enjoy not being able to see him when he's down. But we've been in touch. He's feeling better, which is good. So shall we get into the books? Yeah? Okay, let's go. I'm doing these in no particular order, so it's just whichever one comes to hand. I did finally finish To the Women by Donna Ashworth. This is a book of poetry, and it was beautifully written. I'm not a big poetry person, I will admit that. Poetry is not a love of mine at school at all, but I really enjoyed this one. It was just sort of really beautifully written, beautifully written poems about everyday things that women can experience, what they think, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 out of 5, I think. But no, really enjoyed having a poem to read a day. So yes, thoroughly enjoyed this one. I won't be keeping it. I'm actually going to pass it on. I'm going to give it to charity shop so that hopefully somebody else will get the joy of reading this as well, because I think it's one that more people could enjoy reading, and me enjoy it as well. I also read The Other Bennett Sister by Janice Hadlow. Yeah. I gave this one 2.5, 3 if I'm being generous. The writing style was beautiful. I'm going to say that right off. The writing style was really good. Really enjoyed that. What I didn't enjoy was basically the first half of the book was a retelling of Pride and Prejudice. We didn't need that. Most people, unless they're, majority of folk will know what Pride and Prejudice is about. We did not need a rehash of it. This book was, how many pages? Over 600 pages long. The story itself was 655 pages. The story could have been told in 300. If I'm being totally honest. I loved seeing Mary develop. I really did love seeing Mary develop. I didn't like Mrs. Bennet anyway. I hated Mrs. Bennet even more in this. I also hated Charlotte Bingley. Absolute bag. And that's me not using nasty words. Oh, that woman was a vindictive. So, because those two characters got so much page time, and a lot of it, I'm like, really? And there are things as well that I'm like, can you not see? For Jane and Elizabeth, could they not see that their mother was doing their sister down? And doing her down so badly that they weren't prepared to they didn't have to necessarily stand up to their mother, but they should have done. But they should also have supported Mary. But they didn't. And that I found really horrible and straight. I know the sisters don't always get on, okay? But I'm like, come on, surely you could have just given her some encouragement. But no. There's a lot more to this book that I could chat about, but it would take forever, and I'm not prepared to waste your time or my time. If you want to see Mary's development, great, read it, because I did thoroughly enjoy that. I really liked the Gardeners as well. They were just a delightful couple who gave Mary everything she should have had from the very, very beginning. It's love, support, everything. I liked Tom Hayward. Will Ryder was an empty airhead. But yeah. Not my favourite book. I'm going to be interested to see what my friend Rebecca thought of it, because we were buddy reading it. Will I keep it? I've tabbed it, I've underlined it, I have written in it. I personally would probably, but having done that, I don't know that I can give this into a charity shop, but maybe I could give it into a charity shop and somebody would like to read my annotations. I don't know. But yeah, very disappointed is what I'm going to say. I was really looking forward to this one, and I was disappointed with it. I also read Further Tales from the Shalley School by Lisa Townsend. These are short stories set during various times within the Shalley School eras. I really loved this one. Give this one 4.5 out of 5. There's one tale in particular. It's the Rufus, Joe's beloved dog. His passing. I am not joking. I had tears in my eyes. Lisa wrote that so beautifully, and I'm really glad I've got this in my collection. If you have read the Shalley School or any of the Shalley School, you're going to enjoy this book. If you want a wee... Would I say that you can read this without having read the Shalley School? You could try, but you're going to lose quite a bit from it as to who characters are, how they fit in and everything. But yes, really thoroughly enjoyed this one. Enjoyed learning more about some of the characters and how they became, or how they came to the Shalley School, etc. So a really good fill-in. Definitely happy that this is part of my collection. Also read The Daisy Chain Flower Shop by Laurie Gilmore. I really enjoyed this one. I think I gave this one 4.5 out of 5. So we meet Daisy, and Daisy runs a flower shop in Dream Harbour. And unfortunately, the flower shop has got a name of being, cursed. Because some of the weddings that have happened, the bride and groom is split up later on. And the shop is not doing very well. All she seems to be doing is funerals. And she needs to find a way to, prove that the shop is not cursed. And her mother is trying to get her to, find a boyfriend. And into the shop one day walks Elliot. And he happens to come in when Daisy's ex-fiancé and his new fiancé are in the shop. Why they're there? They just happen to be in Dream Harbour. They're looking at Dream Harbour for a wedding venue. Yeah, right. So Daisy kind of flirts with Elliot and introduces him as her new boyfriend, and he goes along with it. He has come out of a long-term relationship. He's not looking for anything new. Daisy's not really looking for anything, but they agree to be fake daters. And it's the story of their fake dating. It's the story of how Daisy, with the help of Elliot and various friends, try and turn the fortunes of the flower shop round. There's also there's a bit of a mystery about one of Daisy's relatives and one of Elliot's relatives, and how things, were they together in their lives in the past. I really did enjoy this. I loved Elliot as a character. I liked Daisy as a character. The plot was really good, and I really enjoyed getting the backstory of their families as well, which was really, really good. There was some spice, but not too much. It was you know, there was one bit in it that it was particularly, I was like, please no. I was like yelling, please don't do that. That's not right. Or don't even think about it. I'm glad that didn't happen, because it's like, no. I do wonder why she put it in that particular scene. It's the scene after Beltane, and that's all I'm going to say. For those of you who've read it, I did wonder why she put it in, and actually why the publishers let her put that in. You know, it was questionable, and I'm like, that should have been erased. For me personally, that should have been erased. I'm glad nothing happened, but I was just like, you're contemplating this? Come on, really? So that's why it only got a 4. It would have, had a higher rating apart from that. But no, I did enjoy it apart from that one bit. So just be warned, there's a bit after Beltane that you're going to be shouting at them, no. Especially Daisy. But no, it was a nice addition to the series, so glad I've read it. Next I read Last One Home by Christine Rimmer. This is the final book of the Bravos of Valentine's Bay series, I believe. So we meet Ian McNeill. Yes, I was very happy with the name. And he is returning to Valentine's Bay because he's come to meet his biological family. We discover that Ian how can I put this? Ian is not who he thinks he is, okay? Something happened to him when he was a child that split him from his biological family. And he spent some years in an orphanage in Russia to be adopted by then became adopted by Glynis McNeill, and she brought him back to America and cared for, looked after him, made sure that the injuries that he had were dealt with, that he recovered. Something happens that he runs what was Glynis's business now, which is like a toy business. And his right-hand woman is Ella. And Ella and he are best of friends. And he spends time with her daughter, Abby. And Abby and he go to the zoo. And she persuades him somehow to go to the bear sanctuary bit. And something happens that triggers memories. And he realises that he's not Ian McNeill, he's somebody else. He gets a private investigator to find out, does he have any of his biological family left or still living? And the guy finds out yes. And Ella persuades him to go to meet his biological family in Valentine's Bay. And it's the story of what happens there with him. He persuades Ella to come with him, what happens when they arrive, etc. The time he spends with his biological family and what that means for him, for Ella, for Abby, for the whole family in general. This was really well written. I've thoroughly enjoyed this one. Great characters, great plot line. Christine Rimmer is one of my favourite authors for, special editions, and I just love her writing style. And if this was the last book in this series, I've read some of the others, I have still got some of the others to read, but that doesn't matter. I do like the Bravos series. I'm trying to collect all of the Bravos series, but she keeps adding to them. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I don't really want to say much else because I think you need to read the book to get the best from it. It's not a good idea for me to spoil it all. But no, Ian's a lovely character. I love Ella, I loved Abby, and I loved his family as well. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this one and definitely recommend. I then also read Once Upon a Christmas by Jane Porter. Jane very kindly sent me this book a number of years ago, because I'd read the second one. This was me reading the first one. I've also since read the third book in this series. Loved it. So this is the story of Cara, and Cara comes to Bakewell because she takes up a prize that her brother had won at his son's school to stay in one of the cottages at Langley Park. Something happens that the cottage is double booked, and she ends up spending one night at Langley Park and ends up meeting Lord Alex Sherborne of Langley Park, i.e. the owner. And he's not too happy that she's there, but Mrs. Booth, the sort of housekeeper, says, look, it's just for one night. We're going to put her in one of the other cottages that's just been renovated. It's going to be enough that tomorrow she'll be able to move into it. She'll be comfortable enough. It's fine. So they sort of muddle along for one night, and then she's taken to the cottage, loves it. But unfortunately, the next day, while she's out in Bakewell, a pipe bursts, so she can no longer stay in the cottage. She has to come back into Langley Park. And Alec and she get on really well. Some of Alec's family come for Christmas. She does Christmas for them and just makes it a really nice event and a very nice family time together. She realises she's got feelings for Alec. He realises she's got feelings for her, but can they do anything about it? Will they do anything about it? This was beautifully written. Jane has a way of just drawing you into stories and making you actually think you're there. It makes me want to go to Langley Park. It makes me want to go to Bakewell. It makes me want to go and live in one of the cottages and take a tour of the house. There was everything about it that was just Christmas in a book. It just gave you that warm, cozy feeling that you want from Christmas books. And I am so glad I read it. This was my first book for Christmas in July, although we're not actually starting Christmas in July, the actual readathon that Sarah and I are hosting. Sarah from Category Romance, I'll leave a link to her channel down below. We're not starting till the 12th of this month, but I got a head start. And I am really glad I've read this one. I'm glad I've sort of read the beginning of the series. If you want Christmas, English Christmas, White Christmas, and all the trimmings, definitely pick up Once Upon a Christmas by Jane Porter, because you will not be disappointed. I also read The Academy by Ellen Hildebrand and her daughter Shelby Cunningham. Yeah. I liked the writing style. I like Ellen Hildebrand's writing style. I have to say that the writing style was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. I liked Charlie as a character. I thought she was really good, really quirky, and added to the story. I had a lot of problems with this book. There are a lot of trigger warnings in this. I'm going to say that now. There's alcohol and somebody with an alcohol problem. There is an eating disorder. There is fat shaming. There is very much cliquiness within a group of girls to the point of almost being like bitchy. There is a lot of sexual content. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there is sexual content in it. There is some explicit sex scene in it. There is also a bit of a teacher-pupil relationship. And I'm like, no. No. I did finish the book. Will I be reading the next one? Highly doubtful. I went into this hoping that it was going to be so much more than it was. This got a 2. Because I got a 2 for the writing style, basically, and for one character who I liked. But I just couldn't get past all the other bits, all the other triggers, I'm afraid. Which is so sad. Because I think could she have written it another way? Possibly. They chose not to, and that's up to them. That's up to them. That's fine. But no, had high hopes, but it fell very, very short. I'm not going to say much else about the Ellen Hildebrand because I don't want to give the plot line away. Basically, it's Charlie comes to Tiffin Academy. It's the people she meets, the teacher she gets, all that goes with a book, a boarding school, and more. How she tries to fit in, does she fit in, all the usual. Tiffin Academy sounds an absolutely gorgeous place, I have to say. And the facilities they have sound absolutely delightful. The food that the chef gives them is like, oh my gosh. So there were bits about it that I did like, but all the trigger stuff and everything, it just wasn't for me. I tried The Shell Seekers by Rosamund Pilcher and was so looking forward to this. I was like, yes, I really want to read this. This is going to be really, really good. I'm going to love it because I love her writing style. No. I think I got about 70 pages in and thought, no, this is not for me. I didn't like 2 of the main characters. I thought they were awful. They were money grabbers. They were self-centered. They didn't care. All they wanted was stuff for themselves. I liked the Penelope. She sounded like a really nice lady. Very willful, very independent. For, you know, they sort of think that 60 odd is old. It's like, no, it's not. It's not old. Please don't say that. And I liked one of her children, the one that was not Olivia. I think it was Olivia. Her name was. Yeah, Olivia. I liked her, but the others I didn't. So I'm afraid it was a not for me. I didn't finish it. I stopped reading it, and I'm just gonna not read it. I'm just gonna put it out into charity because someone else might really love it, but definitely not for me. Next, the one I'm reading at the moment is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. I'm reading this for Roxy and Brian's Harry Potter read-along. I will leave a link to their channels down below. Thoroughly enjoying this. I'm on chapter, coming on for starting chapter 5. Love, just, it's Harry Potter, what's not to love, and what's not to love about the Burrow and the Weasleys. So thoroughly enjoying this. I wanted a wee break from my Christmas books. I've got more Christmas books up there to read for Christmas in July. This weekend, we've got rugby this weekend, Nations Cup rugby, so that's going to be great. Going to watch all of that. We'll watch some of the football, we'll read, and I'll just have a nice quiet weekend. But that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up, hit that like button on your way down to chat with me in the comments. Have you read any of the books that I've mentioned? If so, what did you think? I would love to know. What are your plans for the weekend? Come chat with me. I better go because lunch is ready. But I will speak to you soon, friends. Stay safe. Happy reading. Bye.